Matthew Crawley and his mother, Mrs. Isabel Crawley, arrive at Crawley House, their new residence inherited through complicated circumstances that make Matthew the heir to Downton Abbey, though he is reluctant to accept it, despite his mother's urging. Their arrival is met with varying degrees of acceptance. Molesley, their butler and valet, attempts to make them comfortable, while at Downton Abbey, the staff, particularly the butler Carson, openly disapprove of the commoners replacing the old family. Lord and Lady Grantham, Robert and Cora, along with Robert's mother, Violet, the Dowager Countess, discuss the situation, with Violet strongly opposed to Matthew as heir and hoping to match him with their eldest daughter Mary to keep the estate within the family. The Crawleys are invited to dine at Downton, an event intended for the family to assess the new heirs. During the dinner, Mrs. Crawley expresses interest in the local hospital, a sentiment that aligns with her desire to find purpose in the village. Later, Mrs. Crawley and Dr. Clarkson visit John Drake, a tenant farmer of Lord Grantham's, who is gravely ill with dropsy, raising Mrs. Crawley's concern for his family's future, while Carson struggles to maintain his high standards with the Downton staff, and Cora and Robert disagree about Matthew's role in managing the estate. Matthew and Molesley arrive at Crawley House, where Mrs. Crawley informs them that the Dowager Countess is visiting. Violet and Cora discuss the drawing room's charm before Matthew arrives for tea served by Molesley and Carson. Violet remarks on the room's past darkness and asks Mrs. Crawley how she is finding being home again. Mrs. Crawley describes advanced medical treatments to Dr. Clarkson, including draining the pericardial sac and administering adrenaline for Drake's condition, but he dismisses them as fads and sets a precedent he is not willing to consider. Carson startles Anna in the kitchen while looking through the pantry. Back in the infirmary, Mrs. Crawley checks on Drake. Downstairs, O'Brien disparages Matthew, prompting a sharp rebuke from Mrs. Hughes, who reminds her of Matthew's status as Lord Grantham's cousin and heir, and warns her against speaking ill of Downton's family. Mrs. Hughes tasks Anna with returning Lady Grantham's button, found on the grounds. Later, while dressing for dinner, Mary expresses her animosity towards Matthew to Edith. Violet, arriving in Mary's room, suggests marrying Matthew, as the money from the estate is no longer hers but the estate's. At dinner, Cora notes Mary's sharpness toward Matthew. The family then discusses Matthew's hunting ability and Cora's potential interest in London. Later, Carson discovers the missing sugar sifter and questions Anna about its whereabouts. At the dinner table, Mary likens Matthew's situation to a Greek tragedy. After dinner, the servants are in the kitchen and Thomas attempts to teach Gwen and William a dance until Mrs. Patmore intervenes. Violet expresses her doubts about Matthew to Robert. Mrs. Hughes confronts Carson, sensing his upset and discussing Mary's dislike of Matthew. Robert and Matthew walk the estate, where Robert asks Matthew if he loves Downton yet. Carson is left to answer the front door when the other servants go to the village. A man named Grigg arrives, demanding to see Lord Grantham and revealing he knows Carson. He disparages the worker who answers the door, makes himself at home in the library, and unnerves Lady Mary. It is revealed that Grigg is Carson's brother, who was formerly an entertainer, and Mrs. Hughes suspects him of thievery. Grigg threatens to expose Carson's past if Lord Grantham is told of his presence, leading Carson to try and pay him off, and Lord Grantham learns about Carson's past as a performer. Meanwhile, Mrs. Crawley, against Dr. Clarkson's initial judgment, administers adrenaline to John Drake in an effort to save his life. Lady Grantham arrives, concerned, but the treatment is ultimately successful. Later, Lord Grantham discusses with others on how to check his mother's power at the hospital board, proposing to install Mrs. Crawley as chairwoman to challenge her influence, while Matthew expresses interest in improving the estate and its tenant cottages. Finally, the ladies discuss Lady Edith's potential suitor, Mr. Napier. Lady Mary, Lady Edith, and Lady Sybil discuss the arrival of the Honourable Evelyn Napier, with Sybil joking about wanting a more appealing suitor. O'Brien prepares for the hospital ceremony as Carson invites her to walk with him, but she is dismissive and makes a rude comment about the Dowager Countess. Carson confides in Mrs. Hughes, questioning his own behaviour, and she reassures him of his integrity. Downstairs, William expresses his interest in Gwen, who denies flirting with him to Mrs. Patmore, though she admits William isn't as appealing as Thomas. Molesley assists Matthew in dressing for the ceremony, advising him on cufflinks and helping with a stain on his sleeve. Carson thanks Bates for his discretion regarding a favour while they walk to the hospital. The Crawleys, along with other members of the household, attend the hospital ceremony to listen to the speaker.